Hello there.
Hello there, troopers, and welcome back to General Kenobis Bunker. Thank you so much for joining me here on the Debrief. And yep, it is an early one today. So thank you so much for joining us. Changing it up today. Yesterday got a little bit too late for me to actually do a stream. I was too tired as well. But we're trying it out this morning. We got our fine cup of coffee right here that's holding us up. So, good morning to all of you. I hope that you are having an awesome early Saturday, and thank you for joining. So, if this is your first time here in the bunker, this is the debrief where we basically talk about Bad Batch, specifically Bad Batch Season 2, which is the one that's going on right now. So, we do this weekly so that we can talk about the episode that dropped this week. However, this week we got two episodes, so we're going to try to speed through this as much as we can because there is a lot to talk about. But again, if this is your first time, welcome. We hope that you enjoy the show. We hope that you swing by the main channel, General Kenobis Bunker, where we like to do toy hunts, toy reviews, trailer reactions, talk about Star Wars in general. So if that's your jam, please make sure to subscribe, share the content, and let us know. See, I can't even talk. It's too early, man. Let us know what you think about Bad Batch around here. Also, go get yourself some merch at nerdaffiliated.com. They got some nice mugs like this one from Hey Archer. So definitely go check them out. Okay. So, all right. We got a couple people here in the chat. Appreciate you guys for being here. I know it's kind of early, but like I said, it got too late yesterday. So, first of all, we got a message from Josue. Thank you so much, man, for being here at 7:30 in the morning. That is early. Hey, what's going on, LeBron? Thank you so much for being here. Good morning to you too. Rolando, our super duper mega mod here in the chat. Appreciate you guys for being here. Thank you so much. So, like I said, we got a lot to talk about today. So we're gonna try to speed through these ones, okay? But oh, that's not too bad then. That's not too bad. Yeah, it's 9:30 out here, so a little bit not, it's like borderline early for me. Like I haven't been awake a full hour maybe. Saturdays are the days that I try to at least stay in bed as much as I can, but it doesn't always work out. But anyway, so if this is your first time here in the debrief, the way we usually do it is we show a little bit of the episodes and try to cover what happened, in broad strokes. Then I like to talk about things that I noticed, things that I liked, didn't like, stuff like that. Then we turn it over to the chat, and then we get out of here. Okay, we usually try to do this as a quicker stream or a faster stream. And don't worry, we won't watch both episodes in full length because that would take just too long. But what is going on, Brett? How's it going, man? Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate you. Oh, yikes. Excuse me. Okay, so let me start up queuing up here the episode. Again, we got two this week, and man, did we get two this week. All right. Let me blow myself up here real quick. I'm gonna preface this with saying this is some of the best Bad Batch ever. Okay, be warned. All right. So again, I'm gonna try to speed through these episodes because I know we don't want to make this super long. But let's just go ahead and kick it off. So the first episode, episode 7, is titled "The Clone Conspiracy." I'm sorry, I know, first scene, right? But look at that. Look at that backdrop. Like, just take a look at those the buildings, the speeders, and I love that every time they're basically showing the landscape of Coruscant, you got the Venators, the Star Destroyers. You got them up there, just reminding you that Coruscant is kind of on lockdown. Okay, it's kind of like, hey guys, we're the Empire now. the Republic is gone, and we're the strong ones now. So I actually do like that a lot. That they keep reminding, I guess, their citizens of who they are. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Bad Batch has matured quite a bit when it comes to the animation and in terms of the scenery. So we got this, which I thought was pretty cool. And this is basically, whoops,
Senator Chichi.
this is basically
We were following.
a clone bar, okay, which I thought to be pretty cool to show the how the clones sort of get some R&R. Um, and then we got this guy here, and his name is Kate, and he's basically talking about, hey man, like how come the Senate doesn't know what really happened to Camino? It wasn't right, we should not have done it. His friend is basically telling him, hey man, we were just following orders.
Orders.
And
Oh, are we?
and then he's saying, well, how come Rampart is covering it up? Anyway, they take a little stroll out of the bar, and basically Kate tells his friend that he's gonna blow the lid off of this whole thing, right? He's gonna tell the Senate that he sent a memo to Rampart saying, "Hey, man, you gotta come clean, or I'm gonna basically testify against you in the Senate."
Slip. We're not bad men. But what we did
But then,
was wrong.
just as they're talking,
Please. I need your help. Together we can.
boom, gets taken out, right? And so yeah, I mean, no big surprise, I think there. He's been silenced. The His friend, the clone, he manages to escape, and then the other clones come to help him. And then we get a look at this guy, our assassin right here, who we don't know who it is right now. So then we got a very cool scene again. I just love these backgrounds. This I'm gonna try and see if I can screen grab this, this scene just to make it my computer like background, because, like I said, it's awesome. First of all, you got the Senate, the Senate building right here. But then again, like I said, that reminder that, hey, we're now the Empire. Okay, we gotta show force. And so I love that you have the fleet of Beneters like always looming on the sky in Coruscant. Let me catch up here with Duffman Dioramas, man. What is going on, brother? Thank you so much for being here, man. Yeah, I agree, man. These ones are pretty good. All right, let me keep going because, like I said, we got a lot of ground to cover. By the way, I think I'm gonna try to do both episodes at once so that we can talk about them as a whole, since they are, two-parter. Um, Sorry, this is the first two-episode release that we've gotten here on the debrief, so making it up as I go. Anyway, so there is a discussion between the senators, basically saying that they need the new bill to phase out the clone troopers and create a new military of conscripts, right? That are loyal to the empire. And senators are debating that it's necessary. That why would it be necessary if the war is over, right? Officially over. Uh, and so they're saying, hey, well, there's still a lot of insurgents, in the mid rim and in the outer rim. Um, hey, what is going on, Evan? Thank you so much for being here, man. Appreciate you. Yeah, no worries, man. I know that I switched it up this time around, but I appreciate you stopping by, brother. Thank you so much. An awesome show yesterday, by the way. I don't know how you were awake already. And so, the debate is going on, and we see a lot of Mass Amida this two episodes, which I thought was pretty cool. In case you don't know, so Mass Amida was actually um, an advisor to Palpatine, but long before he even became, the Emperor. Um, because he was actually very in line with Palpatine's agenda. And hey, man, do not blame you, brother. So yeah, you get some rest, you get some food in you, and yeah, have a good weekend, man. Um, and so yeah, Masamida, he's basically the voice of Palpatine. And it's funny, not funny. I always liked it because he's actually an alien, and Palpatine, historically despises aliens, as in non-humans. I mean, but Masamune, I think, is about the only one that he actually respects and lets in into his inner circle. So it's a character that I've always liked. If we could explore more, but um, you know, but he gets a lot of screen time on this one, which I enjoyed. Anyway, so the debate comes down to Senator Chuchi. And now, in case you guys don't remember, we know Senator Chuchi from a Clone Wars arc back in season 3, maybe. Like, it's been a while. It's that planet that was frozen over. That's the first time we see Obi-Wan and Anakin in their like hot gear, basically. They get their super cold weather gear, and she was the senator for that planet. Anyway, the basic of it is that she's saying, how come the clones don't get to speak here in the Senate? um and they're like, well, they don't have representation. And she's like, well, then I'm gonna talk about them. So, okay, so if you guys want to phase them out, then what is the plan for them, right? Like, are we gonna get them pensions? Like, what is gonna happen? So the point is that um Rampart, is the one pushing the bill to get the conscript army going, and he said, "Yeah, and don't worry, like, they're gonna be taken care of." Of course, she doesn't believe him, and the motion is basically tabled, so no vote. And Palpatine is not there. Okay, they ask him, "Well, where is he?" And Masamita says, "Well, he trusts you guys to get the work done." Um, Basically saying, he's not gonna show up. Then, of course, Masamita and Rampart are talking about the fact that Senator Chuchi is becoming a problem. He's saying, you know what, I'm taking care of it. Then you got Senator Chuchi actually talking to the clones at the bar that we saw at the beginning, which I thought was a nice touch. It's like everybody knows where the clones hang out, but nobody really goes to talk to them, which is a little bit, not cool. Um, so she's basically telling them, hey guys, I'm trying to fight for you. I'm trying to get you some benefits. You guys are gonna be retired and stuff. And the clones, of course, are very not accepting of that idea, because they're like, hey man, like, just get us to fight. Like, that's what we were created for. You know that Why are you trying to like retire us? And she's saying, well, remember, like, you guys age twice as fast as normal humans. So what's going to happen to you when you get too old to fight, right? So she's like, I'm trying to get you guys some benefits so that you guys are comfortable. So that kind of sinks in with the clones, and they're like, okay, well, we'll talk to you. But then she talks with the clone that was there when the other one was assassinated, and he tells her the truth that Rampart was the one who destroyed Camino, and he was actually part of his crew in his Venator. And so, he's just giving her hints about what to find as evidence to basically derail and expose Admiral Rampart. Of course, he fears for his life. So he's seen here, sneaking around, trying to get some help to get out of Coruscant. Senator Tucci actually goes and talks to Rampart, who kind of, agrees to everything she's asking in terms of, clone benefit package, if you want to talk about, pensions and all that stuff, right? Uh, but his plan is basically say yes to everything right now, pass the bill, and then who cares? So they I like how they threw the agent clones dialogue in. It makes sense why we don't see it in A New Hope. Yeah, exactly. So um it's just one of those things, that they managed to interweave properly, because again, if you think about it, you could have, a really good army, right? But if they're only gonna last you like 5 years as opposed to the 10 years, a regular trooper would, that is something that would worry a lot of people, right? It's like, okay, well, what's gonna happen in 10 years, when these guys are 20 years older than they are today, right? um, so um, definitely something that would worry a lot of people. Again, the argument would be made is like, hey guys, we're not at war, like officially, but um, why why do we need that? And the other ones are like, well, we still need sort of like, we still need a military, right? We Now that we have one, we kind of have to keep going. So uh, it's a very like actual like how can I say, like a valid dialogue, like a valid debate, between the Senate. Um, Brett says the premise of retirement was something I didn't think of. Yeah, exactly. So it's okay. We have literally, they say it right. We got millions of clones. Okay, what's the plan, right? When they can't fight anymore, I mean, they're not droids. We can't just shut them down. I think that was another line in the episode that I liked. Yeah, so I there's a lot of layers on this episode that I thoroughly enjoyed. Um, but anyway, we got Senator Chuchi at the first battle again, memorial, and then she's trying to find the clone again. She gets contacted by Bail Organa, who we know is not necessarily happy with the way Palpatine is doing things, and he's already, of course, working in the background, right, to um to put together, you know, to resist some of the bills that the Senate is trying to pass. He turns her onto well, she said he tells her, right, it's like, hey, be careful, you're stirring up a lot of things, but if you really want to do it right, you're gonna have to do it proper and show evidence in the Senate. Then we got the Admiral Rampart's assassin, right, the one who took out Kate the clone, and he's giving her instructions to find the other clone that knows the truth about the Camino massacre. And he's asking, hey, what about the senator, and he's like, oh, you take her out too, like, it's clean house. So um so we see here again, clone making contact with somebody, um and then Senator Chuchi actually finds him first, and he's very hesitant to talk. He's basically saying, hey, like, you stirred up things too much. I gotta get out of here. It's not safe. They already took out one of my buddies, and she's trying to convince him. Of course, like, you need to go testify in front of the Senate. That's the proper thing, to do. Otherwise, we won't be able to expose all of this. And he says, no, like, you don't need me. There's data that I backed up in the Venator, in Admiral Rampart's starship, or flagship, that we were there on Camino, so you should be able to just retrieve that.
To the social system.
This, the guard gets taken out. And okay, I gotta shout out this guy before we move further in. This guard is like the best guard I think I've ever seen in Star Wars. Like, the best, like, no face. We don't know who he is. Uh, he's the senator guard, companion. But man, like, okay, so I just gotta say it. I do not come from a military background by no means. But I felt that this guard was doing basically everything. Uh, is basically everything that I would think, uh, an actual guard, should do. And so he keeps going. He's actually, putting up a fight against the assassin. He's moving the senator, trying to find cover. He plays as a decoy, to for Senator Chuchi to move around, to escape. And so shout out to nameless, Senate guard, because it's the first one that I feel actually did, you know, it's the first one that I feel that he actually did his job like proper. And so he gets taken out. She is about to, and then we see uh, this guy here. So we got ourselves Captain Rex. Lo and behold, Captain Rex makes shows up. They know each other again from that episode on of the Clone Wars, where he actually helped her out in her home planet. Thanks for the tip. I just made it. I didn't realize that it was going through. And yeah, hey, there you go. If it's good enough for Evan, I think it's good enough for me. I was just a little bit surprised about that, to be honest with you. Because like I said, usually those guys get taken out like faster than droids, honestly. But this dude was like on point, firing back, moving at all times, like going from cover to cover, like all that stuff. Like, I don't know, uh, I don't think I've seen another guard, act so good in Star Wars, except of course, Padme's guard in Episode One. I mean, those dudes were putting up quite a fight. Um, anyway, so Captain Rex explains that basically, they're that he was coming here to meet his clone contact, to get him out of Coruscant, and then of course, he heard fire, and now the clone is dead. But the other thing I wanted to show here is they basically take down, the assassin, or Rex does, and they, they're holding him up, but they take off his helmet or his mask, and sure enough, it's actually a clone. So that just adds to the complexity of what is going on. Um, then they're like, okay, we need a safe place to hide him, and they actually go to the garage for the sisters, the ones that helped out Ahsoka. So, and he even says, this garage belongs to a couple of friends. They're out of town, but he that they won't mind. And they're, of course, he's saying he doesn't have any markings, he doesn't have any like serial number. So who is he? He's trying to interrogate him. He knows, of course, who he is, and then he's telling him, like, you're on the wrong side, and he says, well, who are you then? And the guy says, a believer, which gave me chills, by the way. And then, boom, he takes himself out. So, that is where it kind of ends up for this episode. So, while I remove the let's queue up the next episode right now. But what do you guys think about this one? I think this one by itself is incredible. Okay, just awesome. Hey, what is going on, Archer? Thank you so much for joining us here on the Nerdy Coffee Talk. Just kidding. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much for being here. And as I told these guys, go get yourself some good merch at nerdaffiliated.com. Okay, support a great channel. I appreciate you being here, man. I've seen Rex and Boba. Yeah, hey, yeah, Bill. Yeah, you got a point. You got a good point. You ever notice Rex looks like Boba? Yeah. Now that you mention it, that I do see that. Actually, I do see that. I don't know. Yes, Clone Conspiracy was an incredible episode. Okay, there was so much that went on, but let me see if I can just go ahead and roll right into the next one, because again, we got a lot of ground to cover, and I'm sorry we're gonna run a little bit longer today, but let's see. So yeah, the how do you call it? The writing on this one is pretty good. Okay, and there's a lot that goes on definitely on this episode. It's a lot to unpack, really, and but we're gonna try our best. So let me just go ahead and you're not cooperating. Okay, so guys, we're just gonna roll right into episode 8, which is called Truth and Consequences. So let's check it out. And I think this one's gonna start off sort of the same way. Yep. So again, guys, I'm sorry I keep doing this, but I have to shout out the backgrounds. The details. Look at the cloud work. The dust, the buildings, the ships going in. Like, everything looks amazing. Even the mountains back there. So honestly, this episode has done like wonders when it comes to that. So to nobody's surprise, we're gonna see the Bad Batch in this episode, which By the way, we did not see, you know, um, we did not see in the previous episode at all. So so Echo is talking to Alpha, sorry, to Omega, and Omega's trying to meditate. She's saying that that Ganji taught her how to do it, and he's like, well, it's not gonna work the same for you because he's a Jedi, basically. Um, hey, anytime. Yeah, the last check bounced though, so just see if you can take care of that. Um, and so while they're talking, they get a call from Rex, of course, saying, "Hey guys, you up for a trip? You up for a mission?" And they're saying, "Where are we going?" And they're like, "Oh, you're actually gonna go into Coruscant." So they, of course, are freaking out um, because they definitely don't want to get on the Empire's radar. Evan, I appreciate you, man, so much. Go have fun. You know, go try to survive. And I appreciate you stopping by, brother. Thanks again, and awesome show, man. Last night, you guys killed it. So, guys, if you haven't, definitely go back and check out last night's Spice Runners Lounge here on YouTube. Yes, they are. Oh man, it just looks incredible, man. It looks so good. Okay, so they, of course, they go down to level 1313 maybe in Coruscant, and they meet with Rex, right? So the whole gang, so he's basically explaining, what the whole thing is. He's saying that Senator Chuchi is trying to expose Vice Admiral Rampart about the destruction of Camino, because right now the Senate think that Camino was destroyed by like a superstorm that just wiped out the planet, basically the population of the planet. Which of course is doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, but that's the official story right now. And so the Bad Batch is saying, yeah, I mean, we were there too. I mean, we barely escaped, right? And she was like, okay, well, then you guys come over and testify to the Senate. To which Hunter says they're not going to believe us because technically we're deserters, right? We left our post. We are not part of the military anymore. So our testifying is not going to count for anything. So they're like, okay, well, then we have to get hard evidence. And so she tells them that the clone, what that also was on board, the Venator, made a backup of the information, right, of when they were attacking. So they're like, okay, well, we're gonna have to recover that data physically, and of course, conveniently, and that's fine. But Admiral Rampart's Venator is in dry dock right now, getting retrofit. So they're like, okay, well, then we're gonna have to go in. Masamida and Rampart, keep saying is like, hey, this vote, has to happen. We've postponed it long enough, so you better make sure that Senator Chuchi is not, gonna derail it in any way, shape, or form. So Chuchi takes Omega for a little bit of a tour, to the Senate. All that is good. Um, then she meets again with Bail Organa, and he tells her about a former Caminoan senator, and she was the one that we used to handle the money. So, um, he's saying if anybody knows what happened, it'll be her. So she actually convinces her to speak to them, um, and saying, hey, so there was some funds, diverted. Instead of going to the clones, like they were went somewhere else. So I want you to tell me, who did it, or who's the one, basically moving that money. And to which she is very reluctant um, to help, because she's saying, hey, like, Lamasu was too arrogant, saying that they would always need us for the clones, and look what happened, right? So she's like, the few of us that remain, the few Kaminoans, right, that remain, she's like, I don't care about them. She's like, I only care about myself. Like, why would I stick my neck out for any of you guys? Rampart was back in stock at Hasbro once the episode. Yeah, hey, that is smart. Very true. And so anyway, so basically she's saying you don't need me. You already know the answer. You know already know that Rampart's the one who moved the funds. But what you need is evidence. So we double down on the importance of the Bad Batch getting the data, right? And so the Bad Batch infiltrate the uh, the Venator to take out the data core or make a backup of the data core, and they're basically skirming around. They manage. Oh, let me see if I can catch this scene here. Um, well, anyway, they find a way to get into the Venator. Trickery, all of that good stuff that we know the Bad Batch to do. But then they get find out, right? It's like the clones around them are like, hey man, like this thing's turning on. I don't think it's supposed to. So they rush in, and of course, hilarity ensues. Uh, so for this, look at that. That looks amazing. So for this episode, they did remember how to turn on their stun guns or their blasters set to stun because with the Trandoshans in Kashyyyk, they were straight up just shooting them. Anyway, so they fight off, some of the regular clones. They manage to get the data. They're trying to make their way out, and I thought this was pretty cool because they actually escape in an escape pod. Right now, the escape pod doesn't go into space. Right, it basically just goes uh, just a little bit further down in the dock, so that they can get into the tunnel by which they came in. But anyway, let's skip to the important part. So the Senate is again debating. Um, the passing of the bill to conscript troopers, right? Senator Chuchi is saying, it's wrong, it's everything. She presents, again, the Kaminoan former senator saying that, oh, she told me that you diverted the funds, uh, so we know that you are up to something. But he's saying, well, why would anybody believe her? She was disgraced from the Senate. She was removed, and so he's saying, well, we need to investigate. And he say, no, like we just need to get this done. So he's trying to cover it up in the way of saying, hey, the funding was diverted for covert operations, and I cannot disclose. So therefore, stop asking. Let's just go and get the vote. Omega rushes into the Senate, gives the data uh, disk to Organa, who then in turn, passes it over to Senator Chuchi. So she is about to show that they recovered this from the Venator ship that Rampart was commanding on Camino, and then the whole Senate basically sees this, which again is one of the better shots in the show. So basically, you got Tipoca City down here, which was the capital, in case you guys don't remember, and you got Admiral Rampart's fleet of Venators just raining down on them. So of course, the whole Senate is like, whoa, 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 like this is not what you told us. Like you told us it was a storm, and obviously, so the ones that were backing him, sort of obviously back off, and they're like, okay, well, you can see the mood turning. But then we get this, and man, this right here gave me chills. Look at that. Look who finally showed up. So yeah, so Palpatine decides to pop in, right? And so saying that yeah, man, Admiral Rampart is did wrong. Like this is not the way that this should have gone. But he's even thanking Senator Chuchi for exposing him to this rogue element. But then let me see if I can catch the line, because I thought this was just genius. Um, he's of course mourning the lives lost and all of that, saying we're gonna punish Rampart, and he's getting arrested, of course. But here we go. So he's saying, however, he did not act alone. And you're like, what? And so he says, the fact that the clones under his command followed so blindly his orders, um, is to, to basically massacre people, uh, is the reason why we need a change. And so he he's basically making a speech that, hey, we need more protection. We need, we need troopers that we can trust. And so he says, we have to vote on this bill. And he's saying, for our future, I believe that we should go ahead and implement the new um, imperial stormtrooper program. And of course, everybody's, happy about that. Everybody's chanting. There, everybody's like, whoever was on the fence is basically thinking, yeah, that makes perfect sense. So, stroke of genius. Thought it was awesome. We see these guys back, saying, Rex is saying, Palpatine was one step ahead of us during the war. Now he's like 5 or 6 steps ahead of us. So let me just finish up the episode here, and then I'm gonna jump right into it again. But the Bad Batch starts saying their goodbyes, and then it turns out that Echo is not going with them. Uh, he's saying, you know what, all of this is wrong. I've been wanting to do more for a while. I feel that I'm gonna do a lot better um, with Rex. So he's like, I'm gonna go with him. So he stays behind. Omega is like, I don't understand. He's saying, well, it's not forever. Like, I will be back, but for now, uh, you know, I gotta go do this for me, like, and for the rest of the clones. So he stays behind, with Rex, seemingly, of course, to to basically join the rebellion, right? And so yeah, that was it. That was the episodes. And man, I mean, these episodes are incredible. Um, they, I still think they nailed it. I thought it was amazing. Both episodes, Um, oh yeah, they took me out. Yeah, sorry about that. I forgot. My bad. Okay, are we back right now? Okay, thank you. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. Forgot that the mouse is ever watchful. Um, so yeah, sorry about that. But let's just go ahead. Let's wrap up. Let's talk about the episodes themselves. Okay, episode 7, the Clone Conspiracy. I think is just about the best episode standalone that or if it was a standalone. Just looking at episode 7, I think it was amazing. I think it was great. Okay, a lot of stuff happening. We finally get to see what I wanted to see, which is again the forceful transition of the clones into the stormtroopers, and we get to see the conspiracy that was happening. We got to see Rex come back, because of course he looked different. He's actually now wearing his armor, which I thought was kind of cool. He was just wearing more of a casual getup. And Senator Chuchi's back. We see Bail Organa, all of our usual, I guess, suspects. And then they finally talking about the destruction of Camino, which I thought was kind of odd that they didn't come back to that, but they finally did. So to me, episode 7, the Clone Conspiracy, is just amazing. um I loved it. I don't really have any complaints, honestly. I mean, the fact that the assassin was another clone, it just makes sense to me. It's probably a modified clone. Who knows, right? Maybe somebody that actually willingly turned over to the Empire, right, to kill his brothers. We don't know. There's so many clones out there. We know that clones like Crosshair, for example, had no problems, basically shooting at his own brethren. So who's to who's to say that he might found another one? Kind of want to Rex some sort of armor. Yeah, same here. It would have been cool to see at least partial armor, but it also makes sense because he was going for more of a covert operation, which of course ended up not being that. Um, but yeah, so as I mentioned in the beginning, um, one of my favorite things is definitely visually is Coruscant. It looks amazing. They did a really good job, and I love the Venators in the sky, right? The Star Destroyers. So if you don't know, the Venator is actually one of my favorite ships in Star Wars. I just love that design, and so I love seeing it so much. Play here, and they actually called it a Venator. Sorry, because they usually don't actually. They just called it a Jedi cruiser or they called it a Republic cruiser or something like that. But they finally addressed it the way it's supposed to be by its designation, which is the Venator class. So I love that. I was over the moon with that. I know nitpicking maybe, but again, it's one of my favorite ships, so I enjoyed that part. Um, Episode 7 also once again showed us that the Bad Batch are not necessary in their own show. I mean, I'm sorry, it's just I think it was done correctly by not having them here on Coruscant because it would not have made sense, right? Not at this point. However, episode 8, now it makes sense to bring them in. Okay, now they're like, okay, you know what? We try this our way. We try to get um, the clone to testify. We got him killed. We almost got ourselves killed. Now we need this data retrieved. Who do we know that can do crazy operations like that on a short notice? And of course, Rex would think about the boys, um, because they've helped him out before, right? And he's like, yeah, these guys are just strong enough and crazy enough to pull this off. So we don't have time. We kind of have to get it this done. So now, again, now it makes sense for the Bad Batch to come in my opinion. And I know I've said it 1,000 times. I'll probably say it 1,000 more. Again, Bad Batch work better as supporting characters. That's just it. Senator Chuchi was the main character on this one, and then Rex, right? So yeah, but man, the way they did it with Palpatine, like I thought was perfect. All right, the usage of Palpatine was just right for me because I feel it would not have felt the same if we had seen him in the previous episode, right? Him just sitting there, just kind of listening to the senators, debate and not saying anything or saying one or two things here and there. And then we see him at the end, again, I think it would not have, it would not have had the impact that it did. But like this, he just shows up at the right time when the tide is turning finally, right? For the good guys, and he just shows up and he says, man, like you guys, you did awesome, thank you so much, uh, but also thanks to you we're gonna pass this bill, you know which is the exact opposite of what they were trying to do. So again, I think they handled the Palpatine character just right. He would definitely have contingency plans if Rampart couldn't get the vote to pass, and this was one of them, obviously. um it's I think this was actually his main plan. Like he actually wanted them to find out Rampart, to expose him, because this way there will be no doubt that they need to face the clones out, that they need to be uh replaced, because look at the clones, they're just following orders blindly, even if it leads to a massacre. So how can we do this? um how can we keep him around? So we need security. We need we need troopers that we can trust and are loyal to us. So let's kick off the Stormtrooper program. So again, it gave me chills. um it was just done right, I think, for once at least. But let me know what you guys think. Again, if you've been on the fence for Bad Batch, I feel that these two episodes would definitely turn you around. Predictions: next episodes will not be as good. Okay, I knowing the show, next episode is gonna take us right out of this, line of events and just gonna put us out to another heist or another thing. I hope I'm wrong. I really am, but I don't think I am. Okay, we've seen this pattern before. Um, we get this like awesome ramp ups of the story, of really good episodes, and then boom, they were just like thrown across the galaxy, and nothing really matters of what happened in the previous episode. And yeah, so we'll see. I really hope it's not the case. I really hope they give us at least one more, maybe showing Rex and Echo getting to somewhere, where they're supposed to meet Ahsoka. I'm not saying Ahsoka has to show up; would be awesome, but or maybe going on a mission for Bail Organa, or Mon Mothma, or something like that. I think that would be cool to see a little bit more of the rebellion side already. Um, yeah, maybe another one disguised episodes. Why not, right? Another Galactic Indiana Jones episode. Why not? Uh, so yeah, guys, I hope that you enjoyed these episodes, because if you didn't, then Bad Batch is done for you. Okay, I'm sorry to say, but if you didn't like these episodes, that's it. It will not get any better. All right, I'm calling it. Um, yes, they could do everybody that survived Order 66, like an Avengers type of episode, um, but that won't be Bad Batch, really, in my opinion. I feel that this is where Bad Batch was meant to shine, um, because of, again, because of the characters, because of the state of the Empire. They have a unique, way to see what the progression between Clone Trooper and Stormtrooper is, and they're finally addressing it. So again, if you didn't like these episodes, I'd say you basically tune out of Bad Batch and just wait for Mandalorian. um, but if you did, let me know down in the comments what you guys think about it. Were you about to drop, you know, Bad Batch, and maybe this one's pulled you in? Archer, looking at you. Uh, did you think they did it right? I think they furthered, the the story fairly well. But you guys let me know what you think, if you think this was done right. So with that, I thank you for joining me here tonight, today, this morning. See, I'm definitely not used to streaming in the morning, but thank you so much for joining me this fine Saturday morning. Uh, Again, sorry about the new time. It's just yesterday did not work out, but I appreciate each and every single one of you that stopped to say hi. And I wanna shout out here. Let me just find the link. I know that Rolando dropped it. We got a little bit of here. We got a little bit of a project going on, guys. So if you could go back to this link, it's a GoFundMe for Duffman Dioramas. He was here earlier, and I know that you guys have seen him around on basically all the live streams. Great guy. He's falling on a little bit of hardship right now. So if you are so inclined, we would really appreciate it if you guys could just go ahead and donate a few bucks. We're trying to get him jump started into getting a new home. So please check out the link. It's here in the chat. Just go back a little bit, click it, and whatever your contribution could be, we truly appreciate it. So thank you so much for doing that. I really do appreciate you guys. Thank you, Rolando, for dropping the link and reminding me of mentioning that. Oh, there you go. See, that's why you're a super duper mega mod. Appreciate you guys. Uh, Took a minute to drop it, but glad they turned it around. I agree. I agree. I'm actually kind of on the same vein as you. Great episodes, absolutely, man. Like I said, this is about as good as it's gonna get, I believe. Again, into the Bad Batch like niche, right? Yes, again, they could do the Avenger style, but we'll see. Um, yes, absolutely, man. So once again, guys, sorry we ran a little bit longer, but 2 episodes, really good ones. So much to talk about. Um, little like maybe not to some of the comic books, but the clone that got taken out in the very first like 5 minutes, the one that was saying that he was gonna blow the lid off of this whole Camino thing, was named Cade. And for those of you who still remember the Dark Horse comics, Cade Skywalker is a descendant of Luke Skywalker, obviously, about 150 years after Return of the Jedi. So I don't know if they did that on purpose, but I thought it was pretty cool, and I definitely noticed the name because of that. So just a little, theory out there. I don't know if that's been confirmed or not, but I thought it was cool. Anyway, all right. So we're gonna go ahead and call it a day here. Once again, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate you guys. Uh, please don't forget to leave your like here before you exit. I'd appreciate it, and if you can share the content to people you think would enjoy it. So thanks again, guys. I'll catch you on the next one. Go watch these episodes, okay? Go watch these episode 7 and episode 8 of Bad Batch, okay? So thanks again, and I will catch you on the next one.